Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the conversation again. Today I have again Banka Manneh with us. I think everybody's familiar who Banka Manneh is. The last time we had Banka Manneh, it was right before his sentencing. Obviously, we know since then he has been sentenced. Banka, welcome to the conversation. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kubali. Thank you very much for having me.
Good. Banka, I just wanted to obviously, have you here for a quick, 10 to 15 minutes. I know that the last time you were here, obviously, you had not been sentenced yet. Since then, we understand that you have been sentenced and will be serving 6 months time for, obviously, the alleged crimes that you were charged with. How do you feel, and what do you have to say about that?
Well, thank you again for having me. I am relieved because at least now I know my fate. It's not easy not knowing exactly what is going to happen in the end. As you know, we are facing up to 25 years of prison term. So whether it was only 25 or 14 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 1 or no prison time at all, we didn't know. So to really know, at least finally, that's 75% of the issue solved, because at least you know your fate, you know what's going to happen, you know when you are going in, you know when you are coming out. So at least that knowledge of the certain, the fate and the certainty of it, it really makes it really a huge relief for me personally. Yes.
Thank you so much. It goes without saying, obviously I'm sure your family is distraught. How is your family doing? How is your mom's, obviously your mother-in-law and your wife taking this?
Well, like I said, I think it's the same feeling that I have noticed there, and that is before they too found out what my fate was going to be, or I guess all of us, our fates. There was a lot of concern and worry, if you will. But then since when the sentence has been announced, I've noticed a huge relief in their faces, and finally they can at least put their fingers on the whole issue and as to where we are, heading and when it's all going to end. So, they have adjusted to that very, very well. I have to say I'm very, very proud of them, all of them. They've been able to adjust to them very, very, very remarkably well. Because now at least we are talking in terms of, okay, you are coming out on such a day, and when you come out, da-da-da-da. So you can plan ahead and get to kind of, put, in dates on those plans, because at least you know how it's all going to go. And at least they also know that I'm not going in for a long time, as there was the possibility also. So really, they find out it's only 6 months of prison term. Even that they were not too crazy about it. But I kept telling them, look, 6 months as opposed to 6 years or 20 years, which one would you prefer? And so then they were able to put things into their right perspective, and to realize that this is really, really a very lenient sentence, and you couldn't have it any better than this. So yes, they're handling it very, 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 very well nowadays, really.
Thank you so much for that, Banka. Obviously, today is Wednesday, the 10th of August. I understand that you'll be reporting tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And that'll be tomorrow, Thursday, the 11th of August. Now, Banka, you have a huge following, and you're a major motivator to all of us involved in the movement to restore democracy in our nation. As you go to prison to serve time for something that we're all fighting for, what advice do you have to give to Gambians to ensure your absence does not mean that everything will have to come to a stop?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and thank you very much for asking that question, because one of the things I would like for everybody to understand is that we are dealing with a situation where I know we are, we are not familiar with this kind of stuff, probably. We've never fought a liberation struggle, if you will, in the Gambia. The only people like I think we've discussed this before, were people like Francis Moore. But even in his case, it wasn't like the way we've come to see liberation struggles even for the past or now. And that is a situation where many people end up going to prison, some lose their lives, some lose all their properties, some lose hands and limbs and legs and everything through the process. I mean, a whole kind of horrible things happen before the people finally get to get their freedom. So, and this is how liberation struggles are fought for the most part. And because in our case, we didn't go through that episode at no time in our political history, really fighting for our independence or what have you, in the hands of a brutal dictator or even foreigners for that matter. Or, in the case of South Africa, where in the hands of the different race, we didn't go through those kinds of challenges as a nation. So we don't have a good understanding of how these things are. So people tend to think that it's a walk in the park and the immense sacrifices sometimes that are necessary are just not necessarily in our psyche, and we are not mentally prepared for them, since that's not in our history. If you talk to South Africans, they will understand struggles like this. So certain things will not surprise them when, for instance, in my case, somebody going to prison for these things. So because they've been there, they know it, they know what it takes. If you talk to even other countries in our own sub-region, Guinea-Bissau, and those countries who had to literally fight for their own liberation, to even get their independence, they are familiar with these issues. So for them, there's somebody going to prison for their beliefs or what they are fighting for, or having to lose everything, it's not anything new to them. So they are used to it. So they expect, I think, it's a level of expectations. And if there is anything that we can get out of this situation, and if there is any advice I can give to the folks, is that they need to really work on those expectations. And that is not to think that this is going to be a walk in the park. Everybody just has to risk something small or do a little thing and just, and then boom, everything is going to happen, as we always say. Let's nyan. Nyan or dua. Dua or nyan is not going to do this for us. It's going to take people going to prison, some losing their lives, some being tortured, because that's the nature of our situation. Unfortunately, we are dealing with a brutal dictator, and with brutal dictators, if you want to liberate yourself out of that mess, you have to go through those things. And if we are not ready for those things, we might as well call it quits and just sit home and not worry about it. So really, I want them to understand that this is what it takes and not cry for me. Trust me, there are people who have lost their lives, and they just need to understand that the price that I'm paying is just very, very minute. And I mean very, very small when you look at the broader picture and what could have, and the way it has happened for some. So really, I'm one of the lucky few, if you ask me. And so I just want them to realize that this struggle needs to go on. They need to keep fighting. They need to keep believing in it. And it's for a good cause. And whether somebody else is doing much or not doing much, if you believe in it and you believe in what you are fighting for, do not watch the other person or how much risk they are taking. You go ahead and do what you have to do to take care of the situation, because it's people like that who eventually make it happen. Not the ones who are in it one leg in, one leg out, or trying to, not willing to take any risks, or trying to just be seen in there and be taking credits while not doing much. Yeah, that's how it goes. You have those who want to claim the credit and those who make it happen. So you continue to have that, and it's the nature of every struggle throughout. So I hear this all the time. We all have to come together and do this and do that and do that. It doesn't happen like that. In every struggle, people have different views, different approaches, different way of doing things, different personalities, different alliances and what have you. That is okay, as long as we don't have a common enemy and we are all all roads lead to Banjul. Then let's just see it as though we may have our differences in opinion or approach, but we need to always understand that we are all on the same boat. And so let them keep fighting and not give up, and not see this as some kind of a huge setback. Oh my God, Banka is going to go to prison. I might as well call it quits. We can never do this. No, you're not in it because of failures or successes of Banka. You are in it because you believe in it. If you're in it for those reasons, you don't look at anybody or what happens to the next person. You go ahead and fight for it. And the good news is, if I'm having to deliver any good news to wrap this up, is that we are winning. Finally, we are almost there. So, people might look at it and say, oh, Hussein Daban, them are in prison, so something is dead, and with all the things that have happened, we are not united, this, that, and that, all the million excuses that we can give ourselves. The moment you do that, you are missing the broader picture. Finally, we are making it happen. Yajame is cornered, he and his henchmen, and now the spotlight is on them. They are retreating, and we are on the advance. And we are on the offense now. So the good news is, it's just a matter of time. It's not if anymore, it's when. We will finally get our liberation. Finally, we get our freedom.
Thank you, Banka. Indeed, very well said. Sometimes I wonder if you're human. I just saw you about to go to prison. I just asked the first question, and you're laughing. Your strength, is amazing. I'm not going to prison, and I cannot tell you how I feel. A lot of Gambians like me are distraught about you having to serve 6 months in prison. What words of comfort would you like to leave with them so that whilst you're gone, something they can think about? What word of comfort can you leave for these people that are so distraught? Some cannot even call you to say bye.
Well, let's always remember that Henry David Thoreau, somebody that I look up to when it comes to liberation, to fighting for what you believe, is somebody who is my idol on so many levels on matters like this. Henry David Thoreau said that even the idea of going to prison in of itself is a protest. Because when you are in prison, somebody says, where's Banka? Oh, he's in prison. What happened? What did he do? And then the story begins. So the story is going to go further and further and further just by virtue of, say, myself going to prison or any of these guys that are also going to prison, already in prison. So what the point I'm making is, let's not see this as some kind of a setback. Let's see it as some kind of a victory. Because what it does is in effect, it's really expanding, our reach, and it's getting our story to corners that it may not have arrived at, and it's going to sort of instigate an inquiry. Inquiry in this case, or in the sense that somebody is going to be asking, why is this person in prison? Why is he there? And the story then begins. Well, he's there because of da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And that discussion in of itself is getting the message to the people that it probably otherwise would not have gotten to. So let's see it in that light. And that's why I said we need to start reading our expectations and understand that liberation struggles of this nature, this is how they go. It's not a walk in the park. People cannot expect to just sit in their homes or expect to play this problem away or expect things to happen overnight without you acting, because I hear that a lot. People will say, nobody, don't worry, it will go very soon. It will go very soon. Oh, no. And you ask them, what are you doing about it to actually make that happen? Well, I'm not doing anything about it, but I can assure you, it's going to happen soon. It's like, no, you are not doing anything about it and you expect it to happen soon. You think you know somebody who is doing it? The point is, at the end of the day, ask yourself, what can I do to make that liberation happen? And whatever you can do, you go ahead and do. Because in the end, in the final analysis, your action is what matters, what you are doing about it. If you don't do anything about it, then we don't expect the results to happen. And it's just the nature of the beast. So again, in this case, let's see if there's my going to prison and, Chairman Jai and Barrow and, all these guys and Papa Fal's ordeal that he's been going through. Let's see these things as, we talk about Sane and, the people who have lost their lives. Their stories, they didn't die for nothing, and those who went to prison are not going in for nothing, and I'm not going to prison for nothing. Our story has been told. Have you noticed that globally since with this incident, the spotlight has been on Gambia in ways that it hasn't happened before. Because finally the story is on CNN, on Atlantic, on NBC, on Al Jazeera, all over the place, because finally people are saying, whoa, what is going on in the Gambia? And because that's the kind of inquiry it's instigating. And so my going to prison is going to do exactly just that. And Barrow's going to prison is going to do just that. Guy is going to prison is going to do just that. Our Fal's ordeal is going to do just that. People be asking why. And that why answer, whatever answer that why is, you and I know that. Obviously, what that means is, if somebody were to say, where's Banka? Banka, oh no, he's in prison. Prison, what happened? You get into the whole story of what happened and why I got into prison. Through that conversation, you are educating that person about what actually is going on without even realizing that you are educating the person, but you are doing that because you're saying, well, it's because on this 38 they went to the Gambia and da-da-da-da-da. Oh, why did they do that? Well, because da-da-da-da-da-da. The story goes. So again, that's why even Henry Thoreau said, people need to understand when even the idea of going to prison in of itself is a way of civil disobedience. Because when you go to prison, it's going to instigate some kind of a discussion. Because somebody's got to talk about you going to prison. And somebody's going to ask why you went to prison. So that in itself really instigates the kind of discussion that you otherwise probably would not have been able to create if you would even go to prison. So yeah, it's okay. Let's see it in the best light that we can see it in, and make the best out of the situation and realize that it's all for good reasons. I mean, we can look back on this history in 20, 30, 40 years and say to ourselves, you know what? We gave it everything we could give it. And yes, we did it. That's what the story is going to be in the final analysis, I think. That's the good news to Kubali.
Thank you so much, Banka. Banka, I know this fight is not personal between you and Yaya. And I know many that are fighting, it is not personal. It is about country. It is about doing the right thing. Chances are very good that by the time you come out, Yaya will be gone, be dead, or maybe he'll still be there. He is going to listen to this. I know somehow this is going to get to him. Talk to him for a minute.
Well, I mean, as for Yaya, because he doesn't listen, it's very difficult talking to him. But for whatever it is worth, I will oblige and basically say to him, if ever he does, which like I said, I don't believe he listens. And that's why in the situation that we are in. But again, if he were to listen, or if you were a listener, this is what I would have told him. I told him, look, all the signs are written on the wall for you to see. I mean, the writing is on the wall. You can see it. This is not a real. It is real. This is not. There's nothing fake about this. It is the reality of the situation. So you have a chance, and this is your opportunity. Take it, because when you wait until when whatever happens finds you in power in there, then it gets to be a much more nasty situation. You can, the amazing thing is, unless he doesn't want to take the chance, but the chance is still there for him. But time is running out. That's what all he needs to understand. Jerry Lawrence in Ghana committed all kinds of crimes. Don't let anybody fool you. This man executed people, some of whom were very innocent. He called them whatever names he wanted to call them, that they were the scumbags of the nation. They were bad for the country and and that they deserve to die. But none of them received due process of the law. It didn't happen like that. So he committed again, because even after committing all those crimes, he was able to redeem himself by way of saying, quitting when it mattered the most, taking the chance when he got it. He left power. He had signed all the deals with the people, and he was able to at least even not only not be prosecuted for what he did, but also live in Ghana peacefully. Can you imagine that? With all the things that Jerry Lawrence did. So what that means is that Yaya Jammeh needs to just take a leaf from that book or that page. That's all I wanted to advise him. And that is to say, Yaya, you have an opportunity, take it. Because if you don't, I mean, there will come a day, that's what happened to Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi, instead of taking the opportunity, he did not. He thought he was invincible. When the day came and he was in the hands of those rebels, that's when reality began to set in on him. But it was too late. He was killed in the most vicious fashion. Samuel Doe, the same thing. Saddam Hussein, the same thing. I can go on and on and on. You know about all those stories. So what I am saying is, right now he needs to understand these signs were written on the wall for all those folks. They just didn't take it. And so the wise ones who took it, we also have seen what has happened in their cases. He is not willing to take it because he doesn't listen. So it's just unfortunate that he might end up going on the way of those folks. And because Muammar Gaddafi believed in that, for all those people who told him, Gaddafi, this is going to be your fate if you don't, do the right thing right now, he was laughing at them. He thought they were crazy. But guess what? Who is laughing now? So for Yaya, if he's listening, Gambians have finally gathered the courage, and they are rising up against you. They are now, emboldened, if you will. I mean, whether you realize it or not. And frankly, they are plotting against you on a daily basis, whether you know it or not. So it's just a matter of time. Like I said before, it's not a matter of if, but when. So when we get a situation like that, that means you can count on your blessings. You need to go ahead and do whatever you got to do today, at this very moment, right now. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow will never come. And so, but again, this may turn out to be useless advice because, we all know that Kurbal is the kind of individual we are dealing with. And it's just unfortunate we are in this mess because he doesn't listen. Guy is not in trouble because of the fact that he hasn't been given all the right advice. I'm sure he has been. He's just never listened to him because, in the end, what does he do to advisors? People who tell him the truth, people who tell him what is right. He ends up, do all kinds of things to them because he does not want to hear them. And when you don't want to hear folks around you to tell you what is right, you will end up having people around you who are just silent. And that silence right in there is where the danger lies for him. That's his disaster right there. The moment people start talking to him and giving him advice, that's when he should have realized he's doomed. Because in the end, that's what's going to create a big disaster for him. And it's coming. It is coming, whether he knows it or not. It is coming. Kurbali, you can take that to the bank.
Thank you so much, Banka Manneh. Banka, in conclusion, I know I will be speaking for a lot of our comrades in the movement when I say to you that although your presence holds more clout, the rest assured that we will all rally around yours and other families of our brothers who have already begun serving time. I don't know what to say to you. There is no words I can tell you that can console you, other than to say, go to jail, hurry up, and come back for us to continue this fight. You never know. We might be, your family might be meeting you in front of those prison gates to tell you that Yaya is gone and let's go back home. Do you have anything in closing before we end this?
Well, when we went through all that, I thought you were going to tell me, Banka, don't worry, tomorrow I'll report on your behalf and I will start this whole thing on your behalf and I will serve the time on your behalf. I mean, that's what I was expecting, but I'm disappointed that you didn't offer that.
I thought Coach or Musaje or somebody was.
Trust me, I wouldn't. If those two, trust me, I wouldn't allow it even if they offered, because Coach, you put him in a place like that, he's just going to drop dead at the gate before he even enters the building. Well, for Musa Jeng, before he even gets in the car to drive to the spot, that's where he's going to drop dead. So trust me, I'm not going to put them in that kind of trouble. But anyway, hey, Krubale, look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The beauty of our struggle, and this is where we need to see the silver lining for ourselves as a nation in of itself. When you fight along somebody, there is a certain kind of camaraderie that comes about that is totally different from this buddy friendship thing. It's different. Totally different. It's just like, how soldiers, when they go to battle together, notice that? Whether black or white, Hispanic or whatever, you see the bond that they develop among themselves? That bond is one that is much stronger than you can ever imagine, any other relationship you can imagine. Because you realize that person, others may be your friends or this or that, but they've never been put to a test as far as defending your life or putting their lives at risk for you. Now, what happens with a struggle like this is that's what gets to be created, those kinds of bonds. And it's going across the board among all people from all backgrounds, from different places, people who wouldn't have known each other, people who would never have even associated with each other. You see what I mean? So somebody from Brufut and somebody from Basse. I mean, imagine the distance, Kurbali. I mean, they begin to have this bond that is much stronger than even blood relationship. Because the struggles like this, what tends to happen is, you notice that the moment you get into it, you sort of cultivate a new kind of relationship and you begin to develop a whole different new kind of family, different from the blood ones that you have, because the blood ones tend to unfortunately even drift away because they don't want to be associated with you when you're in a fight like this. So what that to create is you have a family that is of your choosing. The ones that you are related to with in blood, You didn't choose them, right? And maybe if it was, a soccer type situation, back in this, we say, a pitcher, bolo, how we used to pick a team, you say, okay, I want that one, the other one, and then you play against each other. Now, if it were a situation like that, maybe you wouldn't have chosen those ones. Now, in this one here, that's the interesting thing that's happened. You literally are picking a family of your own choosing. You went out there and you seek them out and say, okay, Kubali is going to be my brother. Coach is going to be my brother. Musa is going to be my brother. You literally are choosing for yourself, these people. It may be because of circumstance. It could be anything. I don't know. Call it whatever. But at least you are exercising a choice in this regard. You see what I mean? That choice right there, when you exercise it and you have a family like that, you know that one is going to be so strong, it's not even funny, because you chose those people on your own accord. It wasn't imposed on you in any way. So in our struggle like this is the kind of bond that began to develop among us, among people from different backgrounds, from different regions in the country, from everywhere. When this story is all written, when when Gambia is gone and finally we are liberated and we have freedom and justice in that country, you will see a country at peace with itself in ways that has never happened before. Because you'll have war veterans that will stand by each other, that will defend each other. So we work on each other's behalf and make sure that our interest together as a nation is built in a way that reflects our vision as a people. This is what these things do, because there's a particular bond that needs to be developed. There is a whole different ballgame from family. And it's real because you chose it. You had a choice and you decided, this is going to be my brother. You didn't have to. You see what I mean? And that in of itself is the beauty of it. So for me, looking at you all, trust me, I'm grateful to God that I have all of you. Because personally for me, I have come to have a family that I chose on my own accord. Nobody chose you guys for me. I did it on my own. And I'm not regretting any of it because I've seen it with my own eyes, how we've stood by each other. Today, if Banka Manneh gets arrested, guess who gets up? Tunkara, Kurubali, Tunkara, the sentence for Tunkara come to Nenkios came up and Coach, Musa Jang, Tukulor C, Sadu Kamara, I can go on, I can go through Sigajang, I can go through the names, Chagnaba, I can go through the names, but when you do that, you start to forget people. And, that's, I don't want to commit such a crime. But the point I'm making is, these are people that I chose on my own. They were not imposed on me. I didn't choose any one of them. No. These are people that came to be my brothers and sisters, and we have developed a bond that is stronger than anybody can imagine. Because, like I said, when you get in trouble, these are the first people that come to the rescue. Not your own family, your blood family, but these people. They come before anybody. You see, can you imagine that? That's what that means, Kubali, is that all of a sudden you have a family that really looks after you in ways that nobody else can and nobody else does. That's the beauty of it. What about wives and children and when mothers and dads and brothers and sisters? But then, the moment, people heard I was arrested, boom, there are people who rushed to raise funds. There are people who rush to call my wife and find out what they can do. There are people who rush to, these are people that I'm not related to at all by blood. Not in any way, not even Adam and Eve possibly. I'm just kidding about that. But you get my point. These are people that really are family in ways that are so different from the blood relationship, my own blood. Before my own brother that I'm related to the same mom and dad knew about the trouble that I was in, it was you guys who knew about it. And it was you guys who rose up to do something about it, even before he could even utter his first word. Imagine that. You see how the kind of family I have here? It's a whole different ball game. And that's the beauty of it. So for me, going and leaving you, with you guys behind, I know somebody got my back covered. I know that the very reason why I'm in there, which is the fight for our liberation of our nation, is in good hands, probably even more capable hands, far much more capable hands than mine. The people who I can trust with my life, people who I know, when they say yes, they mean yes. When they say no, they mean no. When they say, Banka, we're going to do this, then I know they will do it. people that I know are going to continue to fight and keep the fire burning and keep the spotlight on our issues and make sure that our country is liberated and make sure that we all live in peace in that beautiful nation of ours. Knowing that there are people like that out there is what makes this whole journey so easy. It's a piece of cake. I'm telling you, a piece of cake. Because knowing that alone in of itself makes it so easy, it's not even funny. I'm just going to go and chill. I need to rest probably, go and lay down and, watch TV, write and read and have a good time while you guys do all the work. And trust me, nothing can beat that. Nothing can
Banka Manneh, Banka, you are family. Be rest assured that we will take care of your family whilst you're gone. You have proven to the Gambia that you are ready to fight for that nation, like the Ousseynou Davos, like the killer aces that, put it all on the line, like the Coach Pasamba Jaws. All the Gambian people, and I'm sure if every one of them had the opportunity to say bye to you before you return, they would thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Stay strong. We will continue this fight. And by the grace of Allah, by the time you come back, if he is not gone, the job would have been almost there. Good luck, my friend. And thank you very much for your time. I know you have a very short period within less than 24 hours, and you were able to accord me this time to have a short conversation with me. Thank you so much, Banka Manneh.
Thank you, brother. Keep it up, and give my regards to your family. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Banka Manneh. He will be reporting prison sometime tomorrow about this time. Serve a 6-month sentencing just fighting against dictatorship in our country. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great day.